Hey everyone, I'm here with Lynda Stevens again of the Chalice Tarot and her newest deck, the Cascades Oracle. So today we're going to chat a bit about the Cascades Oracle, and then people sent in questions. So Lynda's gracious enough to do readings for everyone. Thank you, Lynda.
You're very welcome. Pleased to be here.
Yes. Yeah. So the Cascades Oracle, how did that come about?
Well, it came about through a suggestion from somebody. So what's happened was I wanted to get the Chalice Tarot pack up to date. And I've been thinking about that for a long time. Before Christmas, somebody managed to put Photoshop on a new laptop that I bought from them, a secondhand laptop. And that really put me in business. And then somebody from a group on Facebook, Tarot Deck Creators, one of the other tarot deck creators there, very kindly showed me how to update the cards so they looked a lot more professional. So I had already actually done some work on them before that, and I made a copy of a deck which I put on Gamecrafter. But in after quarantine, I realized that I had enough time to really focus on the cards, and so I did. That meant changing the borders and changing the labeling so that they look better. And then I changed the artwork as well. It took months on end, working till 4 in the morning. And somebody who works for a psychic magazine in the UK suggested that I might stand a better chance of finding a mass publisher if I had an oracle to offer as well. And the thing about that was that I had a series of A4 abstract collage pieces which I put into a small catalogue using blurb.com. But the main problem with them is that there isn't really something that could grab people's attention and say, well, this is what they're about. And the Oracle, I had thought of considering something a bit like a so-called Book of Urs, with cards of different moods and symbolism to express different ideas according to the seasons, or according to just the atmosphere and vibe that you want to work in. And so I decided to do this, to make these old works into an oracle. And I chose 40 of the cards, and I put a caption and a small piece of advice to go with each card, and the oracle was born. I haven't heard from the mass publisher, by the way, but I do have this extra oracle, and it's so far the people have seen it, say they like the colors and things like that. Somebody told me it works a bit like something called oblique solutions, which is a tool used by business people to try to find creative solutions to something. And that's how I see this pack. It's about finding creative solutions.
Got it. So it's not ready, it's not available to buy yet.
It is. It's on Printer Studio, and it's up on my Printer Studio shop. I put it up on Gamecrafter, but I haven't yet ordered one. The trouble with Gamecrafter is that they tend to put things into enormous boxes, and these large boxes tend to attract the interest of customs. And then I find out that I've got a massive customs fee to pay as well. Oh, no. So I haven't actually taken that step yet. The only advantage that Gamecrafter has is that I'm able to put a booklet to go with the tarot cards, and eventually there might be a booklet to go with this on Gamecrafter too. But at the moment, it's just a plain cling film set, 40 cards, and it's on my shop on Printer Studio.
Gotcha. So this has been one of my questions about Oracle decks. Like, when you make one, how do you make like a well-rounded one? You see what I'm saying? Because like I could see, like,
yes, I do see what you're saying.
You just pick things out and then it's kind of lopsided and it doesn't represent kind of a full experience, or however you want to look at it.
I think the Oracle is more like something that you'd use for slightly quicker solutions. I think the tarot is what you would turn to if you want a reading with more depth. But and the Oracle, as I said, it's really about getting past blocks, mental blocks. I think you can get a fuller set of cards by focusing on different colors. So the colors, to my mind, always sets the mood. So I'll just show you an example. This one is a red card, and the title is Resolution, and it's the sense of flowing and marbling and things coming together. So that big flash of white on the right is the idea that the light bulb moment has arrived.
Okay.
This is a more subdued color, and this one is about not judging a color by its books, a book by its cover, so to speak. Actually, no, it's called Out of Darkness. So I've got bright yellow ones, for example, Golden Sunset, very optimistic card. I have this green one, Carnival, which is about celebrating life, and green is about life and as nature, so to speak. I see that as being closely related to that. And finally, I've got blue and purple as well. So here's the actual card called Cascades. So it's a nice purple.
That's a nice one.
Nice purple pieces on that. And this is one of my blue ones, and the blue ones I see as being related to tides and moods that come in great depth.
Yeah, nice. Those look really good. Those look really good.
So anyway, I've got 40 of these. The first ones I did in around about 2005, and 2005 was an interesting year because for some reason, I just got a really powerful sense of inspiration. And I didn't yet have a place of my own to really work in, but I just concentrated on these A4 collage size pieces. But the feeling of being inspired, it was a very deep one. And I did a whole series of different works there. But because they're only A4 in size, it doesn't look as though it doesn't really look that much, but at the time I felt incredibly motivated to really restart my creative direction, not to worry about whether or not they'll ever sell or whether or not I get marvelous exhibitions, things like that. Just that the whole process of doing it is its own reward. Don't always feel like that, but at the time it was just marvelous to feel that profound sense of inspiration.
Great. Yeah, I agree. Like for me, the creative process it's such a great personal experience. It's like it kind of doesn't, the end product doesn't matter so much to me. It's the creative process, and if I can keep it going and not get stuck somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Well, are you ready to take some questions? Because we've got quite a few.
Right.
Okay. All
okay
right.
Then.
So Crystal Morissette says, will me and my ex get back together?
Okay.
That is the question.
So what I'm going to do is spread the cards out and then choose one. So I can't really shuffle at the moment because I'm holding the phone as well.
Yeah,
but I can spread the cards out. Okay, so what was the question again?
Will me and my ex get back together?
Right. Taking a card out now. And the card I've pulled is called Triumph. Everything leading up to this moment is in place for victory. Now that is an incredibly optimistic card. I don't want to give false hope, but if the steps have already been taken to reach a reconciliation and you've worked out where things have already gone wrong, this card will be is an excellent augur for for getting the relationship onto a much better basis. That does mean, however, that the earlier steps have to have been taken. That's all I will say there. But here I've pulled Triumph.
Nice. I like that. The in the middle, to me, it looks like kind of like an African king or something. That's what it looks like to me. At least from here, gold, over the video.
Gold is an incredibly cardinal color. Is it where you can see it? Do I need to go up or down with it a little bit? I can see
it. I can see it. Maybe up just slightly. Yeah, that's good. Yep.
Okay, so there we are, Triumph. So that actually is an incredibly optimistic card, and that's the one I pulled.
That's nice. We're off to a good start. Are you ready for the next question?
I am. So
this is fun. I like this.
So I'm just going to mix the cards up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the next question?
The next question is, when will my career status improve? That's from Naya.
Okay, so pulling for Naya now. And again, I've got a very optimistic looking card. This one is called Beginnings. And the caption is, A revolutionary idea is never welcome in the beginning. Here is the card. So we all know that COVID has changed a great deal in our lives, and it's also going to continue to cause a lot of problems. Businesses will collapse. People will be on the breadline. It's a tough, tough situation. Now, the thing about this card is that the solution to the answer may not initially be quite the answer that you want. It might come from a totally left field direction. But what it does offer is that there is the potential to find a way through this, through perhaps really shaking up your ideas and looking at things that you never considered before, perhaps in a totally different light. It does indicate some fairly radical changes to your lifestyle as well, and to the ways that you've always worked in. So there we go. It's a nice bright red color, and it's about, and I'd say it's got quite an optimistic message ultimately.
Nice, nice. All right, thank you. Okay, so are you ready for the next one?
Yes, I am. I'm just going to roll the cards
I'm enjoying
again.
being the MC. I don't know if you can tell. Usually I'm the reader, so I'm enjoying just being the MC here. I like this.
Okay, so what's the next question?
The next question is from Joseph. Why am I still single?
Right, just a moment. Okay, so for Joseph, I've picked an intriguing looking card. It's called Scorch. Getting closer to the light can purify as well as burn. Here is the card. And that's an interesting one. It could indicate that deep down there is a fear of intimacy. It could be a sense that this person doesn't want to reveal too much of their true selves in front of somebody. So there's a kind of an insecurity about letting another person know, perhaps their clay feet, or something that is not in keeping with the way they see themselves. And my advice would be to let some of the self-image, some of the perhaps sense of who you want to be ideally, to let that go and to let somebody see what's underneath. And at the same time, this card indicates to me that there is a good deal of vulnerability in letting somebody see what you're like without your defenses, so to speak. Getting a bit psychological there.
Yeah.
But to me, this is a fear about letting people get too close because they might see something that is not really in keeping with what you want other people to see.
Right. And what was the card called again?
This is called Scorch. And let me read it out again. So getting closer to light can purify as well as burn. And this tells me that it will be very rewarding to face the shadow, face the deep, face the darkness, so to speak, in order to get to that stage. So in alchemy, the first stage is the worst stage. If you want to find the philosopher's stone, if you want to find true happiness, you have to face your demons. You have to face the dark side, so to speak. But then, when you come out of that, you reach the so-called white side, the purification side. That is the albedo. And this, to me, is what this is the promise of this card. And once you get to that stage, you then get to identify who the right person is, who your dream person could be. Well, maybe not quite dream person, because, of course, you don't want to put people on a pedestal. You want to get away from pedestals.
Right.
Quite a deep card.
Yeah, nice, nice, very nice. Okay, so are we ready for the next one?
We are.
Okay, so Navina asks, career guidance in which field and when I would get the job.
That to me might need more than one card, and I haven't actually designed these for timing, so possibly I would recommend going to have a tarot reading as well. But I'll pull out one card and we'll see what we've got. So what was the question again? It was about career.
Yes, career guidance in which field and when I would get the job.
Right. Okay. Which card calls to me? I think I'll go for this one. Now, this time I've pulled source. Getting to the heart of the matter is always key. And it's a nice optimistic red color, red and gold. And it suggests to me that you have to know, so you have to know what the crux of the matter is in order to get a sense of where to go. So if you don't identify the key problems as the right problems, what you think is the real issue might actually be something else. And so the important thing is to find out what you're really feeling deep down and what really matters to you. And that's not, by the way, trying to please other people. So you have to get a sense of where you really want to go. Now, talking about the timing, the card itself has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wouldn't know whether to count these in months or years. It's not going to, but it does indicate to me that it's a process of steps and stepping stones to get there. So it might be that you will need to take a course, maybe get some kind of a training in order to reach the steps that you want to take to get there. I get the sense this is somebody also who could be very good at getting to the heart of the matter, looking past whatever the initial problems seem to be saying, and to get down to what is really bothering somebody. So this person could have that gift themselves, maybe in some form of counseling or in some kind of helping area. But at the moment, they need to look at themselves in order to get the sense of where to go.
Nice message. Thank you. Okay, so are we ready for the next one?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Sweta says, worried about my dad's business. Money is stuck from all places. He's a middleman, sells and distributes ready-made hosiery goods. Would be very grateful if you could guide about his business.
Right. Okay, I've got the bird's eye view card here, and the message with bird's eye view, from a higher perspective, what seems big may in fact be petty. So when we are close up to our problems, we can't really see what's going on. You need to be able to step back in order to be able to get the full view of what the picture is. So it could be that for some reason, your father's problems are very much ones that you've taken on yourself, a little bit too much, I would say. And it's only by standing beyond that situation that you can really see what's important. Things seem to be a little bit all over the place. There's a lot of disorganization, a lot of loose ends tied up. If there are any debts, they certainly have to be paid off. At the heart of this, however, the card tells me that you've got something really precious here in terms of the hosiery business, whatever it is. It's something that shouldn't be compromised or diluted. So in business, you might have heard that there's a thing called brand stretching. When you try to create products that are cheaper and more accessible, that can backfire. And then people don't recognize the true value of what you already have. And so I think you need to keep the integrity. Your father needs to keep the integrity of that business and not make the wrong kind of compromises with it. What seems to be the problem seems to be to do with structure and organization. Here is the card. Take a look. Bird's eye view. And stress, of course, worry, make it very difficult to see beyond the situation. So sometimes, in fact, not trying to control too much can be the best way to see, wait a minute, this is where I need to go forward.
Nice. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I love your interpretations. They're great. I'm finding them helpful. They're not even my questions, but I find them helpful.
Well, that's great. And some of them are just coming to me. So there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready for the next?
Yep. Okay. Itai asks, will I marry the person I'm dating right now?
Now for this card, I have pulled impact. Having the greatest effect depends on the first moments of action. And here is the card. So if this person hasn't as being overcautious and holding back and not saying what's really on their mind, the moments may pass, interestingly. So it's an interesting card because it's got a lot about making the first impression. If it's a superficial person, they're not worth knowing anyway, is what I would say. But if they're not, by being overcautious and trying to play your hand too cautiously, you'll never know if they really like you or not. I get the feeling that possibly there is the possibility for a good relationship with this card. But if you're not actually letting the other person know what your feelings really are, then they will never know. Right. My only caveat is that if this is the kind of superficial sort of person who's only interested in how you look and behaving in a certain way, then that's not the right person. But if you can get beyond that, well, then that's very optimistic.
Nice. Nice. All right. Are we ready for the next one?
I am.
Okay. Lori says, will I find love?
For this card, I've pulled Lightning Rod. And the message that goes with that, the more charismatic may serve as a conduit for great energy. And that's an interesting one. Yeah. And I'm not quite sure where to go for that, because this suggests to me that, either this person or the person that they're interested in, if they are interested in somebody, but this is somebody who perhaps doesn't realize what they actually have. And they need to be able to, so I think once they're in tune with themselves, well, anything can happen. So this could be somebody who underestimates their ability to actually find the right person. So I don't think this is the card I would pull for somebody who's got the kind of issues, which means that they're never going to find somebody because their hang-ups are too deep. It's more like this person is, how can I put it? It's like they're holding back. It's almost it's kind of like a Clark Kent syndrome. It's like this is somebody who's got a good deal more. It's a good deal more power than they really know what to do with. Wow. So I think it's important not to be afraid of your power, is what comes to mind with this one. Yeah. And so perhaps they worry that they might try to manipulate somebody through the sheer force of their personality to get to someone, but they shouldn't underestimate the power that somebody else might have in order to reciprocate that. Yeah. Wow. And that's lightning rod? Is that what that is? The card? Yes, that's right. So some people just attract, things just happen. Yeah. So somehow when they're around, it's they're almost like a catalyst. Yes. Maybe what this person also needs is a catalyst in their life. So making sure that they choose the right ambience, the right place to be in. Yeah. And that will surely make things happen. But if you take somebody to a dull and boring place and wear clothes and not try to show your how to show your best qualities, well, they never know they're there. You can be too self-deprecating. You can sell yourself short.
Right, right. And I like that Clark Kent syndrome. I never heard that before, but that's cool. I get it. I get it. You're actually Superman.
So you never know. Well,
Yeah.
it could be.
Yeah. Okay, great. Great. Thank you. That was a good one.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so are
So
you
then we go
ready?
from here.
You
I
ready?
am.
Okay. Um, who was that? Was Lori. Okay, so Samantha says, is he going to communicate his feelings for me?
Let's see what we get here. Oh, well, I've got the same card again, impact.
Oh,
So having the greatest effect depends on the first moments of action. So it looks like we've got something of a shrinking violet here. My interpretation here is that you both might be a little bit on the shy side. And if you pussyfoot around, then you'll never get a sense of what's going on. My recommendation here is to ask straight out and ask them if they really have, whether they really would like to have a relationship, one that's deeper than the one you already have.
right.
So if you don't ask, you will never. Yeah, if you don't ask, you'll never know. If you just keep on just have on casual dates and just keep on chatting and not really appearing to take it any further, then there'll be no real commitment.
Yes.
So I think you need to put your cards on the table with this one. And they might not. So they might not be ready for a relationship. Well, so what? It's you don't want to waste your time with somebody who isn't committed. You seem to me to be ready, and for somebody else not to be ready when you are is not deserving of your time.
True. True. Very, very true. Good advice. Okay. So
Okay.
the next one is Lisa asks, what do I need to know to guide me in the right path? I am in a very transitional stage. Breakup and moving back to family. I have so many paths I can take. I'm just unsure what's best for me.
Right. Well, what I've got here is an interesting card from that perspective is Golden Sunset. And the message with Golden Sunset is, in the fullness of summer, it's best to soak up heat and energy. And here is the card. And I think this person was talking about being in the right direction. So at the moment, of course, it's summer, and it's like a summer like no other because, of course, of all the problems. But presumably, you can still go out and enjoy being part of nature, and perhaps even just being able to sit in the sun and enjoy it. And it's often when we get the chance to recharge our batteries that we get a much clearer state of mind in order to know what to do and where to go. So I know that things are limited at the moment because of coronavirus, but having a holiday of some kind will really refresh your mind and get you the sense of what it is that you really want. It seems to me actually that you probably have a lot more than you realize in terms of where your desires actually are. So I don't know where your gifts are. Get the sense that you do have certain gifts, and they should be allowed. They should be fostered. They should be allowed to express themselves. There's a lot of givingness here, and there's a very warm and giving nature coming through on this card, and it's important to be able to share that.
Nice, nice. That card reminds me of isn't there some artist named Klim or something that has those paintings
Clint.
with all the
Clint.
gold in it? Yeah.
Oh yes, I love Clint.
Yeah, that's what that card reminds me of.
Oh, it's certainly a nod in his direction. I love the way he uses spirals against gold. It's very mystical, really, his design.
Yes, yeah.
So when I saw his work the first time, I just loved it.
Yeah, me too.
And that's a sense card. The only thing I get with this card is not to get too caught up in the past. So not to allow nostalgia and to get to things were, if only things were great then. But now, of course, it's not so. So in fact, things might not have been so as wonderful as you think. With the point about a sunset, that it's looking back on the day a little bit, just as this one is.
Gotcha.
And it's much easier to say, well, back in the day, things were so much better. Well, they probably weren't.
Right.
Probably you remember the nice things now because of seeing it through rose-colored spectacles. But in fact, things can be just as marvelous now in different ways.
Nice.
So don't allow so do remember that things were not always that great before, and that it could be that you've developed skills and experiences which can get you an even better now.
True. Good advice. Good advice. Okay, so we're ready for the next one?
Just a moment. So the one I've got, yes. Oh, I picked a card for asking the question, actually.
Okay, so the question is from Stephanie, and she says, when will our financial status improve? It's love and money today. Love and money. Love and money.
Well, not surprised.
Yeah.
Traces.
Yeah.
A card I've pulled now is called Traces. From imprints left in the sand, the way forward may be discerned. Here is the card. So that's quite a hopeful card for finding the way forward, actually. It's from recognizing patterns. It's from where things have gone before. And and this leads the intuition to open up. So in fact, this card suggests that you have quite a lot of natural intuition in order to see where to go next. But the important thing is to heed the signs and to recognize what your instincts are telling you. So we know that there are limitations that we haven't had before, but I think with this card that you know in your heart of hearts where to go forward. It's the answer's already there. It's a question of being able to recognize them a bit more. Often our dreams can give us a sense of our true feelings and things like that.
Right.
So listen to what your dreams and your intuition are telling you, because they're your best guide at the moment.
Gotcha. So the question was when. Do you want to take a stab at when, or?
Let's have a look. Let's try another card for when.
Okay.
So I've got Carnival this time. Through fancy dress and celebrations, we are our best selves. So according to this card, it looks to me as though a lot of the solutions are not that far off, because it's in the summer that we are most able to celebrate and enjoy what's there immediately. Perhaps rather the end of summer, when things start to cool down a little bit and we get a little bit of our energy back. And as we get into September, of course, well, then certainly in Europe, the new term starts, and we're full of a sense of new possibilities. And it's the new year, actually. It's the new academic year. I don't know whether this person is involved in academia, but that's when a new demand starts for taking on courses, learning new things, just trying to get a sense of the way forward. And we all know that on the internet, you can bypass any of the social problems there are at the moment. I mean, not the social distancing and things like that.
True. Yep. Okay.
So if this person is involved in learning and education in particular, that's good. Got a sense of the arts and crafts as well, actually. So it could be a good time to be doing small creative things and either bartering with these or working with them. But we all know that life is going to be tough. I think it's going to be a certain amount of bargaining and bartering and building up a network of other people who have services and things that they need doing, and working on that. The sense of working with the community I get with this. or people trying to enjoy things together,
Yeah.
but in the open air, not indoors, obviously.
Yes. Nice. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So the next question is from Angela, and she says, I'm moving into a new place this weekend. It's shared housing. Will this be a good fit, at least for the first 2 to 3 months? I don't think I should ask about the long-term relationship because we may be getting another new person in a couple of months. That might change the whole dynamics. So basically, moving into a new place, shared housing, for the next 2 or 3 months, is it going to work out?
Interesting card I've got here, and it seems very relevant. It's called Slipstream, and the message is to be part of the flow means to be influenced by the moment. And to me, what this card means is that we are much more influenced by our environment than we ever realize. And this, because it's a go with the flow type of card, suggests to me that being with a couple of other people, sharing with them, seems to be a positive step. You don't need to be told, I'm sure, that there's an awful lot of compromise to be made with this, and a lot of straight communication to get a sense of where we are wrong, and be careful of your own reactions, I would say too, because we know that everybody's coming from a different place, and that's why we have to be so mindful of the fact that the way we talk, just one sharp word, one off comment and such like, or having a bath and that checking that the other ones want one, can cause a great deal of conflict. But I see that as being a positive card from the point of view of sharing with other people. As for something coming in a little bit later, this one seems to be all of a flow, but it could be that if there is a new person, as long as, well, I don't know how much these people know each other already, but communication is always key. So there could be some ripples along the way, but if there is a basic compatibility, it should work out very well.
Gotcha. Nice.
Okay.
I used to live in a co-op a long time ago in the 80s. I always think about that. They're very fond memories. It was it was shared housing where it's like we all shared the rent, and then we all pooled our money for food. So we had dinner like 5 or 6 days a week. And I think that was it. And you were kind of on your own the rest of the time. So you either cooked or you cleaned up as far as the dinner thing went. But I really enjoyed it, but I was very young then. I always think like, how would that be now? That I don't know,
Among adults who are set in their ways and things like that. Yes, it might depend on the age of the people who are concerned with this one. So, I mean, there's somebody who's perhaps not so flexible or a bit, or not so easygoing. It's going to cause a huge number of problems. But if these people already know each other well and get on reasonably well, then it stands a chance of working, I would say.
Yeah.
But
I find that hopeful. I find that card hopeful.
Yes, I don't see anything it's a flowing type of card, so I don't see anything that really seems to get in the way.
Yeah.
But possibly it's working out how to give each other enough privacy too. So that always comes into it.
Right. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
So there we go, Slipstream.
Yes. Good one. Okay, the next one, I believe this is the last one.
Okay.
Yes, is will my nephew be able to stay in his current home?
The card I've got here is called Exquisite Detail. Sometimes the small parts do matter within the big picture. And here's the card itself. So now the question here, the small parts do matter. So small problems can very quickly can escalate into big problems if there has been a failure of communication all the way along. It's going to need a lot of smoothing over, I think, if you want this person to stay there. But if you can get, I mean, it's also going to mean a lot of readjustment and really doing something to change this person's ways. It could be that, I must say that the person concerned probably has the kind of lifestyle and habits that are really causing that really cause a good deal of friction. And if there's even just a little bit of money not being paid, or something that this person feels has not been settled, like for example, a piece of furniture damaged and something not replaced, well, the answer will almost certainly be no. So it seems to me that it could be that you need a mediator to work through this one, because I think there's quite a lot of problems in the background that need to be resolved. If this person is not good at advocating for themselves, I definitely need someone there. If this person is just, frankly, just too selfish to consider the bigger, consider what the problems are, then it's probably already too late. But at least I think it's worth trying to find out where the bones of contention are, and to try to resolve these. And if that can be done, then you might be able to work something out. Might be that you'll have to pay to cough up here and there on a few things, gotcha, or to make some other kind of compromise that you might normally want to make. But if you can, you might still be in with some hope.
Got it.
But nice. I think the problem there seems to be there. I must say, I do think there are quite a few problems though. So no, there is a lot to sort out there. Gotcha. But if you can find a way to make compromises that perhaps you've never tried to before, then perhaps you might be able to work something out.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you. Those were wonderful. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Good. I'm glad it did. So I hope very much that these were useful.
Yes. So I'll give you a second there.
Let me take some milk. Yeah, that should help a bit. Okay.
So if somebody wanted to get a reading from you, how could they do that?
I've got my own channel on YouTube, so you can look for me there.
Okay.
I don't quite remember what it is, actually. It's L. Stevens. I'll send a link to you.
Yes, I have it.
Yeah, so I'd be happy to answer one or two short questions there. I'm on Skype as well, Nexus 7 Deluxe, and I can make I can put some kind of information across there. I'm on the internet, and I've got my Chalice Tarot deck page on Facebook too, the Chalice Tarot deck. Okay. And so things can be done there.
Okay. Okay. So you're available, easy to reach.
Yes, hopefully, yes.
I mean, we met. I'm like, I keep telling people I have a new friend in Budapest. So that is one good thing about the internet. You can make connections that you would never make before. I mean, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would never have met you otherwise. So
that's absolutely true. So so yes, it's a great way to reach out, and it does work. No doubt about that whatsoever.
Yep. All right. Well, we can do this again if you're up for it. If people want to see Lynda again, let me know, let her know, and maybe we'll do this again. And it was wonderful, wonderful talking to you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And of course, I have my own Chalice deck, set of tarot cards as well, the Chalice Tarot deck. Right. So I can also work with that.
Okay.
And so I got them both.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
All right. So I'm going to stop the recording.